Yeah, I've been asked that question a lot. I actually don't. Sorry to not be cooperative, but they're wildly different stories, and that's a testament to Stephen King and the talent he has to write in so many different genres. And the difference between Castle Rock and Shawshank is just so immense. Even though Shawshank plays a part in Castle Rock, I just view them as completely different. Yeah, once, many years ago.
Did you ask him about any insight into the writing?
No, I just told him I loved his writing.
What did you say to him?
Not much. He's kind of like the town capo, Don, without the, it's kind of a rural Maine gangster.
Was this meaty for you?
I love it.
Something you've
Yeah, it's not a role I played a lot, and it's something I grew up with. In Greenwich Village, bordering Little Italy. Well, a lot of my friends were, mafia wannabes, and the presence was around that kind of guy, the local don. So I saw how that operated, and kind of always wanted to play that guy, so it's a great opportunity. What saved me from being a thug? Well, a good family, good parents, and the emphasis on others rather than self that was instilled in me. And I got lucky. And I often get asked about Shawshank and Dead Man Walking and this current documentary I've directed that's in the New York Film Festival now, called 45 Seconds of Laughter, and they ask what my interest is or my propensity towards prison. And honestly, it's I don't see myself as that far removed from people that wound up in prison. Kids I grew up with that I hung with wound up in the system, and so I never really thought about people in the system as others. I felt maybe that they were less lucky. And then when you put into the mix the illegalization of marijuana in the 60s and 70s, and how that led to a prison population that's higher than any country in the world, I have to just think there, but for the grace of God go I. Well, there's people in jail for crimes we've all committed. In jail for 30 years for crimes we've committed. And there's something quite unjust about that.
You see the world as a better place with the legalization of marijuana?
Is the world a better place? I live in California, and it definitely is a better place. I had watched Castle Rock. I really liked it. How did I feel about being pulled back in? I just thought it wasn't necessarily being pulled back right into the universe. It was this specific universe, and I liked what they were doing with it, and I liked the writing and the twists that were in the scripts that I read. Expect the unexpected. I went and met with them and asked them where this was going.
Okay.
And the great thing about these long formats is that you start with an idea, and it depends on how things go.
Right.
So oftentimes the writers are surprising themselves as they go along. And so each new draft we'd get of a new episode there was always something in it that I didn't expect. So I liked that.
That's fantastic. Go ahead.
Well, he's dying. So one of the things I did was I did some research on that and looked at that, and I had to do a Maine accent, so I had to do a little bit of work there. But I got to be honest with you. Being the guy that's the curmudgeon is easy. It's hard work to be charming, particularly at 6 a.m. And so it wasn't as much of a challenge as other roles I've had. No, I do. I keep to myself on that stuff, and I know from having directed that it's the last thing you want is an actor directing their own scene. So I am malleable, and I try to figure out how to best serve what the vision is. If there's something that I feel is not going to get at the truth of the character or the scene, then I'll have a discussion. But I've always done that from the start. I think it's the actor's responsibility to get to the truth, and if there's something in the way of that, then it's the actor's responsibility to fight for the truth. Yes, it's always been that way. And by the way, the better directors want that, because the better directors know that the actor is your arbiter of truth. And if the actor's just doing what you're telling them to do, you might be cheating yourself of something deeper or more fully realized about the character. In my generation, it was like a rite of passage to do those teenage comedies. Everyone had to do a Get Laid movie, and everyone had to do a Vietnam movie. So I did two. I did both. I passed the requirements for actors my age.
Well, then you made a movie about surfing.
That was an adult comedy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.